All right. Thank you everyone for joining us for our launches series today. We're very excited to present to you 8 powerful strategies to build your e-commerce business. So what we're going to be talking about today is one of the letters of our acronym of launches. So launches is a system that we've put together. We've helped e-commerce platforms in the healthcare space go from 0 to 40K in a month and even higher using these strategies. So most of these are things that you will have understood in the past, but Courtney and I, the director of marketing at GetHealthy.store, will be presenting these to you. So just a little bit of a background on myself. I am a clinician. I've been in the industry actually for over 14 years now. I started my digital practice almost out of the gate. So all of my healthcare coaching has been done from a digital place. Created a thing called Chelsea's List about 7 years ago now with a full marketing team to be very holistically able to give out different products as a healthcare provider. So water filters, things like that. And ultimately it did not work because it had to be built on affiliate links and all of these things. So when this software was created, which is a proprietary software for the healthcare industry, I really saw it as a game changer and been lucky enough to step into a role as sales executive with Get Healthy Stores and work closely with Courtney Bell, our marketing director. So I'll let her introduce herself and then we'll go into the little series for you.
Yeah, really excited that you guys are here. I'm Courtney Bell. I'm the marketing director at Get Healthy, and I have been for the past 3.5, 4 years. And I have my background's largely in education, design. It's pretty varied, and it's led me here to use my background and my master's in neuroscience. And I'm going to provide a little bit of the brain aspect today of marketing, and Chelsea will cover. She's a powerhouse in marketing in general, so she'll cover all you need to know there, and I'll kind of tie in the science for us. So hopefully this will be useful to you.
Perfect. And yes, please ask us questions as we go through. There really are no dumb questions. As I always say here, no one was an expert in the e-commerce space in health before because the space really didn't exist. It was not possible until this software to really go online and promote products that you talk about, like water filters, supplements, food, nutrition, and actually monetize it. So while we knew that in your practice, you were really holistically talking about all of those things, there wasn't a way for you to monetize it. And so it is largely a new space that's been pushed very dramatically forward through COVID and through the need to go online. So there's no dumb questions. We want to hear you participate. What we're going to be talking about is the L in launches. So launches are 8 strategies we've used. They stand for limited time offer, ask, unique product or service, niche webinar, community challenge, holiday, educate, and story. So today we'll be going into L. You can join us for this 8-week series. We're going to keep it quick. We're going to keep it engaging. I'm sure you guys are all Zoom fatigued, but we'll be here about 15 minutes and then open it up for questions. So whether you are a beginner, a grower, or a scaler in your business, these strategies work for you. So what does that really mean? A beginner is going to be just starting out their business. Maybe they don't have a lot of clientele yet. They're getting into the online space, really maybe just graduated. Growing is that you have been in the space for a couple of years. You've got a lot of participants in your courses. You have people who regularly see you, or you have a book of business. And scaling is usually where we see someone with a marketing team. They have a private label. They're ready to get up and running, maybe doing paid advertising either. So all of these letters in this acronym have a different way to approach them. Beginner, grower, and scaler are going to look slightly different, but they're going to follow the same little flow. So a limited time offer. As we said, I'm going to start off here with kind of a general overview, and Courtney's going to get into actually the psychology of this for you. I know we're all a little bit of mini scientists here, so it'll be very interesting. Limited time offer is one of the most tried and true tactics in the industry. It's very compelling. It has a strong call to action, and I'm sure every single person on this call at least once has bought something for a limited time offer. So it's 30% off, friends and family, final sale, this weekend only. It creates something called FOMO, fear of missing out. It's your last chance to get up to 30% off. So these are calls to action that make scarcity a thing and bring it to the forefront of the mind. So you could run a limited time offer. If you're a little bit more advanced in your business, you can actually add something along the lines of only a few are available. So perhaps that's only 10 spaces open in my coaching program. Or if you've launched a private label, we only have 50 bottles in stock. This scarcity mentality really gets people to take action. That's what this is all about. So let Courtney jump into the why it works.
Yeah. So again, just reviewing, the FOMO is a big thing, the urgency, like Chelsea mentioned. And why do you want to do this? It's like she just mentioned, you're going to increase your conversions on your store. You're going to basically get more sales in kind of a time frame that you might need because you are setting the time frame for them and you're making the offer enticing enough so that they will actually convert and they will do it kind of when you need them to, which is a beautiful thing. On the science aspect of it, really it's one particular psychological concept that ties this together, which is loss aversion. People don't want to lose out. They'd rather basically, they'd rather go along with the sale right then than miss it, right? And that's kind of basically just more of a psychological term for describing FOMO, right? They'd rather lose $10 than win $10 sometimes, right? So that's the kind of the basic psychology behind that.
So it's a really wonderful way to launch your store or launch your product line. As we talk about this, generally speaking, what we're saying is that you're going to apply these concepts to launch your store. So we've created that for you. We've created the shelves. I call it, a virtual store is very much like a real store. We've staffed it. We've created the checkout. We take care of everything for you. All your job is to go into the virtual stock room, stock your shelves with things you like, make it look beautiful, and then talk about it. So this L in the launches is a really nice way to start talking about it and start opening those doors to your consumers, if you will. So if you're in the beginning stage and you're just starting out in your business, I usually recommend being a little bit more broad. So maybe doing a sale off of a whole entire category or even store wide. We don't want to use that store wide limited time offer all the time because it will desensitize people to it. They'll expect it, they'll wait for it, or they'll just get bored with it. But really running a category, and it could be a themed category, you're coming to market, it's exciting. And you could say, hey, it's, 4th of July, I'm giving a discount off of everything antioxidant based. So red and blue in my store. You could do something where you're giving a category off. So maybe it's a pet line. It's something that you've really talked about in the past. Say, hey, how healthy is your pet? But you've never had an ability to actually sell that before. So it's a nice way. And we'll talk about that a little bit more when we get into the U, which is the unique product offering. But as a beginner, it's really nice to be a little bit more broad. Now, as you're growing, as you have that clientele behind you, you have people who know, love, and trust you. You have people who listen to you for a certain reason. So at that point, it's really appropriate to maybe launch a bundle or something that's niche specific. So you have people who maybe you don't know on a physical level, maybe you just know them through online, but they follow you for a reason. Maybe you're an expert in detoxing, maybe you're an expert in thyroid. So at that point, you can create a bundle, you can create a limited time offer around that. And you can have something that's niche specific. You could create a coupon code that is specific to that bundle. Maybe it's Spring Detox 20, whatever it is. So something that's very themed and something that runs for a very short period of time. Now, as you're scaling, one of the most used strategies and something that we've seen be very successful is limited quantity. So this is when you're coming to market with a private label. We can have the settings go to back order. So you can collect a negative inventory, you can collect money up front on your private label. And initially, as we started in this industry, we thought that was a great idea until we saw somebody who decided to put out of stock and say, hey, there's only this certain amount of quantity. And it was sold out within hours. So depending on your market, depending on your niche, that can be a very powerful thing to do. There's pluses and minuses into going into back order or going into out of stock. If you have a really, really large following and you just totally sell out, you could maybe open it up for a back order and then we'll go from there. But it is a really great strategy, especially with something like a coaching program where you say, hey, I only have 10 spots available, or I only take on 3 clients a month, because you can build any type of SKU onto your store. You can build a coaching program, etc. So when it works, I'll let Courtney dive into this a little bit after myself, but just a couple techniques here is final retargeting on a Monday. So in psychology, which Courtney will talk about a little bit deeper, we do our final retargeting on a Monday because people go to work and they're most likely to buy at that point. Now, I always say consider competing with a major holiday. With these limited time offers, things like Black Friday, Christmas, you should participate in. But sometimes 4th of July, if you're just getting started, there's a lot of noise over that weekend. And so your emails might go unopened. Might be a little bit more appropriate for you to have a limited time offer at a time that pertains to you. So I give this example. My practice is very holistic, a little bit hippie. So over the summer solstice, spring solstice, equinox, that's when I run my sales. So it's something that my audience is paying attention to. They're open to that, but I'm not competing with, the best buys of the world. And so that makes my conversion work a little bit better. You might have a unique niche that you can play around with those times, and always give them 3 chances. Don't just say, hey, one post and it's done. No, you want 3 emails. You want to maybe make a video where you are tapping your watch, an egg timer, something that's interactive, and reminds them that this is not going to go on forever. And when we're doing posts, we're going to do things like don't just tell them to buy now. Instead, you're going to say buy now and get up to a 50% discount. That creates the limited time offer. And then it also creates that benefit. You're actually throwing that benefit in there. I'll let Courtney weigh in a little bit on this one as well.
Yeah, so diving into this actual image that was on the previous slide, wanted to kind of show you why this one in particular works, because one of the things is the contrasting colors. Our eyes are really only able to process 2 or 3 colors very well at a time. It's you can see there's only literally 3 colors: white, pink, and gray, and they've contrasted them very well. And they've also given specific language. On the CTA, on the button, you can see start saving now. You can see that timer, 2 days, 3 hours, and 4 minutes. It's very specific language so that they know and they have no question when they go to buy that item when it will be gone. Some people are as specific as ends at midnight. So people know exactly what time you are expected to go in and make that sale. Lastly, the touch points are consistent. So, and this is really not in this example, but if you were about to create an example like this, say you post this on Facebook, you also want to make sure that you post something similar on your marketing homepage, on your Instagram, wherever you're speaking about this. Maybe it's a podcast, maybe it's a presentation. You want to make sure that once they go to your Instagram, for instance, and they see this and they click on your store, they're not just led to a bunch of products that are all lined up and they don't know where to shop or what to do. And they have to go back to Instagram, right? So you want to put a little banner on your marketing homepage that says the same thing.
Yes, exactly. We talk about that a lot, is really making those things feel seamless. You don't want somebody to leave your advertisement and end up somewhere with completely different colors. This is why having something like a brand kit can be very, very important. That means that you use the same fonts, you use the same colors, so that you feel like you're in the same store every single time. You don't feel like you've left someone's website to go to their store. It's a very seamless, non-shocking, non-jarring experience for the brain. So the contrasting colors, the specific language, and the touch points are all very consistent. So a couple little extra tips for you all is to include something seasonal. So this is another way to do a limited time offer. Perhaps you're launching your store or you just want to run a sale around a spring detox and getting your body ready for summer. So the actual action there is a limited time offer. You only have this much amount of time to prepare for summer. Perhaps it's going back to school and resetting the circadian rhythm. We all know that getting kids back into a circadian rhythm around school can be quite challenging. So you say, hey, 3 weeks until school starts, let's start getting our sleep routines taken care of. So you could make a landing page or an email with a clock. I use a thing called lead pages frequently in my practice. It's a wonderful, cheap service. I'll drag and drop to create these. And again, having those quick engaging videos, tapping your watch, egg timer, things along those lines, reminding them, even allergy season, hey, trees are about to start blooming, cedar fever, get ahead of it. These are things that are limited time in their benefit, not necessarily their sale. So you can use that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And as Chelsea mentioned earlier, use this method sparingly just because we want to avoid something called choice overload, basically analysis paralysis, right? That's the concept that you have way too many choices and you just don't know which one to choose. And you definitely don't want to encourage analysis paralysis. You don't want to encourage them to just freeze and not really know what to do, kind of like that fight, flight, or freeze response. You don't want them to freeze. You want them to just continually see your promotion. And I always say kind of the sweet spot is maybe 3 touch points, 3 emails, and spread them out over, maybe a week-long period. But again, use these limited time offers, spread them out as well, maybe months on end, or only use them, on certain occasions or with a holiday or a season. Another thing is use emojis. I know it might be a little bit, some people go one way or the other. They think it's not as professional, but our emojis are actually helping our brain because they are visual. So it's communicating nonverbal information, which links back to your limbic system, which controls your emotions. So it's really actually engaging your brain more than just reading. And actually, some stats about emojis for businesses, about 72% of professionals are hesitant to use them, like I said. But on the same token, 63% believe it gives them more credibility. So it increases the engagement. It also increases subject line opens. So if you put it in your subject line, it will increase the open rate by about 29%, according to the research, and the click-through rate as well by 28%. So definitely put them in your subject lines. If anything, if you're not comfortable and just want to dip your toe, then put them in your subject line.
I fully agree. I call them the hieroglyphs of the 21st century.
Exactly.
Cave paintings. But I do that. When I go into my email and I see an emoji, I know that I click into that. And you can use different things. I mean, there are egg timers emojis. There are like full moon emojis. So it doesn't need to be that smiley face, but I think it goes a long way. It does depend on your brand, but I think it works with every single person. You want to be conversational. We'll talk about that in the levels of intimacy online, but you want people to really feel like they're sitting down and having a conversation with you. And most of us text with emojis, so it feels very familiar. So a couple, just to finish this off for you, free resources are for creating imagery. You could go work with a designer, but you don't need to. These can be very quick. There's amazing softwares out there that are very free and or very low cost. Things that we recommend is Canva, and Canva Pro, I believe, is about $14 a month. But what you can do there is if you have a brand kit, you can upload it. As you go to create an image, your fonts and your colors will automatically be applied. So that's how we talked about not having them feel jarred. They have many templates on there for a Facebook post, a sale, a flyer, a banner. I have loved that service, and you can use the free version. Fiverr and Upwork are 2 other really wonderful places to find somebody to work with. I recommend finding a designer that you like. They can create highly professional PDFs that look wonderful. They can do your marketing homepage and be very, very cheap. Again, investing in a brand kit is pretty important here. It's where you want to have that consistency, but these services make it very, very easy. We also do have third-party vendors that we vet, know, love, and trust. So if you want somebody to be recommended to you, we can absolutely do that.